Today in the news, Texas resources placed on standby ahead of Hurricane Laura, and Texas counties threatened with a lawsuit over the COVID-19 order, and of course the Dallas City Hospital capacity report. Today is August 26, 2020, and this is Dallas Weekly News. Hello, I'm your host Patrick Washington, and this is Dallas Weekly News. Various resources to respond to severe weather were placed on standby Sunday across Texas ahead of Tropical Storm Laura, which could make landfall in or near the state as a hurricane later this week. Governor Greg Abbott said Sunday he has preemptively declared a state of disaster for 23 Texas counties, nearly all of them along the Gulf Coast. Laura was expected to enter the Gulf of Mexico later this week and strengthen into a hurricane before making landfall near the Texas-Louisiana border. The Texas Military Department, which includes the Texas Army National Guard, will have at least 860 personnel as well as helicopters and high-water vehicles ready to respond to Laura. The Texas Department of Public Safety also has 1,000 troopers ready to respond as well as swiftwater rescue teams and helicopters, The Texas Parks and Wildlife Department will provide helicopters, water rescue personnel, and dogs and drones. About 150 individuals with Texas A&M Task Force 1 and 2, statewide urban search and rescue groups were also on standby. Abbott said that the state's response to any impacts by Laura would also be guided by efforts to continue combating the spread of COVID-19 in the state. After a spike in coronavirus cases during much of the summer, the state in recent weeks has seen an ongoing decline in the number of people testing positive and the number of hospitalizations due to the virus. The Texas Military Department will also have disinfection teams and COVID-19 mobile testing squads ready to go. Abbott said 2 shelters will also be set up for individuals who are dealing with health impacts from the virus. Efforts by officials in one South Texas county to delay the start of face-to-face classes due to the coronavirus pandemic could face a legal challenge on claims of religious freedom. Cameron County, which has been one of the many COVID-19 hotspots in South Texas in recent months, has delayed in-person classes at public and private K-12 schools until September 28th. But the Brownsville Herald reported attorneys for 2 private religious institutions have told the county that the order is unlawful and goes against Republican Governor Greg Abbott's June 26 executive order superseding the authority of local government to issue orders aimed at slowing the spread of coronavirus if they conflict with government's own orders. Laguna Madre Christian Academy in Laguna Vista and Calvary Christian School of Excellence in Harlingen plan to open for face-to-face classes on August 31st and September 8th, respectively. Last month, Abbott said Texas counties don't have the power to preemptively shut down campuses to stop the spread of coronavirus. Abbott said that the power rests in the local school boards and state education officials. Jeremy Dees, an attorney with Plano-based First Liberty, which represents the 2 schools, told officials in a letter that any effort by Cameron County to enforce its unlawful order will be viewed as an affront to the religious liberty of the 2 schools and met with the strictest legal defense. Daniel N. Lopez, an attorney for Cameron County, said in an August 20 letter that the officials were not opposed to granting Laguna Madre Christian Academy an exemption because the school is small and if it came up with a plan that meets the state guidelines for reopening. But Calvary's Christian School is bigger, and its reopening plan was still being reviewed. And now the City of Dallas's hospital capacity report. This has been Dallas Weekly News. I'm your host, Patrick Washington. You can find these and more stories at dallasweekly.com and follow us on social media on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And of course, as always, if you can, please stay home, stay safe, and we will see you again tomorrow.